Hawkeye State has had an on-again, off-again relationship with IndyCar racing. The first race IndyCar ever held here was under the sanctioning of AAA in the 1915 season, 106 years ago. The race was a standard 100-miler at the time on a half-mile dirt oval at the Tri-State Fairgrounds in Burlington, Iowa. The winner was Racing Hall of Famer Bob Berman, coming off a solid top 10 finish at that year's Indianapolis 500. AAA would go on to sanction 3 more races in Iowa between 1915 and the 1916 seasons, but stopped returning from 1917 season onwards. Much akin to the Field of Dreams farmer Ray Kinsella, NASCAR Cup champ Rusty Wallace helped build a 7/8 of a mile D-shaped oval in the middle of Iowa with the hopes of, if you build it, they will come. Well, in 2007, after a 91-year absence, IndyCar answered the call, becoming a regular stop on the yearly schedule from 2007 to 2020. Speedway did not appear in the 2021 schedule, leading many fearing the demise of the track. However, news of Iowa's demise was greatly exaggerated as IndyCar announced they would return to the Speedway in 2022. If you're new to IndyCar racing, you may be under the impression that these cars grew up on the many road courses and paved ovals throughout America. It's tracks like Iowa that harken back the most to IndyCar's past heritage and history, all the while providing a safe, state-of-the-art facility where these cars can run. Join us tonight for a rare treat as IndyCar returns to short track racing at Iowa. Hello again, everybody. I'm Gary Gazzo. Welcome to Race First coverage of Round 3 of Season 1 of 2022 of the Monday Night Indy Split, coming to you from the Iowa Speedway. Joining me again for expert analysis in the booth from the NHR eSports team in the Lionheart IndyCar Series is Stephen Larkamp. Stephen, all seriousness aside, let's take us a little lighthearted. In your estimation, what's the over/under on tonight for the number of front wing replacements we will see?
Well, as much as you say that this track is a safe environment for IndyCars to race, no one ever accused Iowa Speedway of being a place that's a stranger to contact every so often. I mean, we see it in NASCAR competition, and we certainly see it here in the IndyCars, both in real life and in the iRacing sim. And given the setup that we have tonight, I, of course, have gone out and turned a few laps before this. We are expecting to see a lot of understeer. We're racing in the middle of the day. The track temp, as it stands, is 106 degrees Fahrenheit on that racing surface on this 7/8 of a mile oval. It's going to be a very tough test for tires, especially if the race goes for a long distance. But with 26 cars in the field and all of them thinking they have a chance to win, because frankly they can, it's going to be interesting to see. Who can survive the gauntlet that is Iowa Speedway. The gauntlet in the middle, about 45 miles away from the state 45 minutes, I should say, away from the state capital of Des Moines. It's a track I've been to in real life, and when I did go here both for IndyCar and ARCA with the Lionheart IndyCar Series guys in 2019, I had a blast, and I've usually loved driving this place. So we'll see if Iowa puts in another interesting showing. And by interesting, I mean, well, could be a good race, could be a little more chaotic.
Well, in the words of Tom Carnegie at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it's a new track record, as we have a pole sitter that's set a lap of 188.560 miles per hour. That betters Helio Castro Nevis's track record of 186.809 miles per hour set in 2014 while driving the DW12 chassis. So this place apparently agrees with the IR18. So stand by in the garage area. It's time to go racing. With that, it's time to look at tonight's starting lineup for Iowa.
And that record-breaking pole sitter is Alexis Newsome, a regular in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, a race winner in the Lionheart IndyCar Series this year, actually. She will roll off P1, the only driver under 17 seconds, 16.961. Alongside her, the winner in the first week's broadcast at Michigan, Chris Wilhite, with a 17.070. Adriano Pinero will roll off third in the number 1, alongside the 13 of Joao Androssi. Bono House, a World Championship Series driver in road racing, and gives a crack at IndyCars, no stranger to them himself, of course. He will put his number 3 machine in 5th place, alongside Thomas Geisler, our old friend in the number 8 machine. Beto Sousa in the number 24 will roll off 7th, alongside the 4 of Jesper Orman, the leader and loser, unfortunately, at Texas in the season finale last season. Aaron McQuarrie in the number 22 will be lining up 9th. Completing the top 10 will be the number 10 of our good friend Dakota DeMague. Cameron Baustian's number 17 will be alongside Adriano Forporti's number 11, 11th and 12th. Nacho LDR makes his return to the Monday night broadcast in the number 7 alongside the 21 of Mark A. Murphy. Brace Shadid's number 5 alongside Guillermo Parkel's number 9, 15th and 16th. Masato Shimizu in the number 26 alongside the winner at Indianapolis last week. Bruno Miranda's got a lot of work to do coming up from 18th. Marcio Baroni's number 18 will be alongside the 23 Williams, rounding out the top 20. Rodrigo Franzoni in the number 20 machine will be alongside Matthew Mercer's number 14, 21st and 22nd. Joao Ritter, again, starting towards the back. We'll see what he can do. He's made a habit of this last couple of weeks, rolling off 23rd alongside the 25 of Vitor A. Tonini. And last row of the grid, two drivers who did not post qualifying times. Adam Frazier's number 16, another Lionheart regular, alongside the 19 of Benjamin Topper, makes up the 26 cars that will duel it out for 120 laps at the Iowa Speedway.
2 warm-up laps here. Thank goodness we had a chance to get through all that. Sorry about the overlays. For some reason, the starting lineup did not come out correctly. It had Chris Wilhite on the pole, but it is Alexis Newsom correctly on the pole for here with a new track record, at least in the physical sense or in the physical track. She is with her Indy Alliance livery on the front row there with Chris Wilhite. But we got a packed lineup. We got Jesper Orman, Dakota DeMaid out there, and I've only heard about Bono House. So this will be my first chance to check out the man, the myth, the legend on the oval with his 56K. No, that's not a modem. That's his rating that he currently has on iRacing.
That is 56K on oval, and this is a guy who has made his name for himself on road courses. I believe his road I rating was somewhere in the order of 8,000 to 9,000. So this guy is no stranger to any kind of racing here. We expect some good things from him tonight. As we finally come around off of turns 3 and 4, we wait for the pace car to dive off. Does so now. Newsom already on the gas. She gets it going. Green flag flies. We are underway at Iowa. A very good start for Newsom, and Wilhite under pressure already from Adriano Pinero, who's trying to follow Newsom through. He will have the run on the low side there, but the top line seems to be one of the preferred lines to start off with. Wilhite comes back at him on the high line. He maintains that second spot.
Alexis has built up a bit of a gap here between herself and first place. A couple notable things that you're going to see on this track that you may not have seen before. There is a vicious bump in turns 1 and 2 down on the low line lane there. Watch as she goes down there. We're going to see that bump. Boom, there it is right there. That's going to kick the back end of your car out. We're going to see if that's going to cause any problems tonight. That hasn't been such an issue visually before, but now we really are beginning to see it. They must have some sort of software updates that's kind of brought that to light. But there is your leader right there, Alexis Newsom, and she has herself a bit of a gap on the rest of the field.
Already nearly 1.3 seconds over Chris Wilhite behind him, and already on the move, it's Bono House. He's up to P4 now after starting 5th. Got a bit of work to do to get himself up to the 2 cars in front of him, Chris Wilhite and Adriano Pinero, but already a good start for the Dutchman. And already getting around Joao Androssi, who is now under pressure for 5th place from Thomas Geisler.
There is Thomas right there. After a long day of doing some official races, he said, I'm not sure I want to do tonight's race, and he is roughing it out. Look at him on the high line there. Tell me the difference between the high line and the low line here at this track.
It seems to me with the weather conditions we've got right now, the high line is certainly the preferred one. It's certainly a long way around. Oh.
Big run here by Thomas Geisler on Andrassi. Down low, and we're getting ready to say the high line is the faster line, and it's also the line you want to use to defend. Is that right?
It certainly seems that way. You can, of course, make a move work in 1 and 2 if you're bold enough and you have the run that you need. Unfortunately for Geisler, he did not quite have it there. But the way it is right now, that top line seems to be the preferred line to run with, especially when you're just trying to save your equipment early on in the going. And especially in turns 3 and 4, that is definitely where the high line will reign supreme. It's going to be very hard to make moves on the low side with this setup here. There's a lot of understeer built into the setup. Of course, They have the anti-roll bars and they have the weight jacker to try and compensate for that, as Geisler once again gets a run on the low side to turn 3, but once again, I don't think he's going to clear him here. Oh, he actually got a good run there, 3 and 4. Still not quite enough to get by Androssi.
Yeah, you just can't float up into them. If they're on the outside, you got to really roll out of it. And because of that, it's kind of disrupted his momentum a little bit. And here comes Jesper.
Jesper Orman looking to the low side of Thomas Geisler in 3 and 4. Once again, not quite getting the run he needs there. It's going to be very tricky to do that, but it's quite possible. I think it could be possible if the tires start to rubber in. If we start to rubber in the track a little bit, it might well be possible that that mentality may well switch, as we're already starting to work lap number 12. Alexis Newsom already out to 1.7 seconds nearly over Chris Wilhite in P2. So she's not under too much pressure right now, but once again, Androssi's still feeling the pressure right now from Geisler.
Currently showing one car in the pits for P26, Masato Shitsumu. He has, looks like it got an extended pit stop. Not sure what the deal was, but he is showing in 26th and currently in the pits. 25 cars on the track at the moment, 25 cars on the lead lap. Here's your leader, 13 of 120. If there's one track that we have early on here in the schedule that tires are going to play a role at, it's definitely going to be here at Iowa.
No doubt about that. Iowa has never been accused of being the easiest track on tires in the IndyCar competition. It may be easier when we're racing under the moon, but we're not doing that today. We are racing in broad daylight in what's frankly a fairly warm day, 78 degrees ambient, where track time's actually gone up to 107 degrees Fahrenheit right now. So it's a pretty warm day in the middle of the Iowa cornfields, and these guys have got to work around that fact. It's not going to be, and the fact of the matter is, these Firestone Firehawk tires are not going to be the prettiest to look at once they get taken off these cars.
No, that's for sure. Currently watching Adriano Pinheiro for a couple of laps there, and if this was a dirt track, he'd be riding the cushion at the moment.
Probably would be true, and this track may well have its own equivalent of the cushion in some ways, particularly in turn 3 and 4, where that high line is definitely going to be the preferred line for a lot of drivers here.
Oh, underneath. Taking a look there. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. He's really attacking Chris Wilhite now.
Pinheiro already putting the pressure on. Of 120 here tonight. Sounds like a lot of laps, but you gotta remember, they're turning lap times around 18 seconds, so these are going to be blazing by as long as we don't get too many yellows. But Pinheiro doing everything he can to try and use that low line. Again, you can certainly make it work in 1 and 2 particularly, but it's going to be very hard for him to get that run without stopping Pinheiro from keeping the pressure up on that number 2 machine.
Full send, side by side.
Looks down low, not quite the run he needs. Probably just trying to get out of the dirty air, because even though these cars have really big wings, you're still going to be looking for as much downforce as you possibly can. And more than anything else, that could definitely mean getting out of the slipstream of the car in front of you in the middle of the corner, which takes up a good portion of this circuit. Pinheiro now gets a run on the low line off of turn number 2. They're side by side coming down the back straightaway. Wilhite to the high line there. Can he clear him off of turn number 4, or will Pinheiro be able to stick with him? He actually has managed to stick with him to a degree. Not quite enough, though. Wilhite will be able to maintain.
We were riding along with Pinheiro there for a little bit when he was up on the upper line, and if my ears are deceiving me, it sounded like that his tray, the bottom portion of his tray, was making contact with the pavement there. So there might be some more severe bumps up in that high groove, and watching this car bounce around while it's up there, yeah, it looks like the high groove is a lot more bumpy than it used to be. It's making contact with the ground as he goes through turns 1 and 2. Ooh, gets a little sideways, a little kick out there on the exit of turns 3 and 4, down the main straight, back in line behind Chris Wilhite.
Gotta be really careful up there, though. It may be preferred, but you gotta be really good with your space perception up there, or else this car is gonna be hitting the wall there. And if there's one thing these Indy cars do not like, it's hitting things.
Well, the underside, the under tray hates to be disrupted, and anytime that happens, it makes these cars unstable. Going back a little bit farther in the pack, here's a battle for 8th. There's Cameron Bastain, who I race against in the Velocity Online Racing League, as well as Dakota DeMaid there, also from the Velocity Online Racing League. Both of those guys fighting it out here in the top split for P8.
And a solid top 10 night so far for Dakota DeMaid once more. Ooh, as he gets really close to that wall coming off of turn number 2. Gotta be very careful with that. And if I'm someone in DeMaid's position, I'd be just content to run my laps and just get myself out and get myself in a solid position, but not doing anything overly aggressive here. With a lot of laps to run, it's going to come down to strategy and very likely down to cautions. And
we are still here. Looks like we had a little bit of a breakup there with Steven. Not sure if he dropped off or not, but we will pick it back up here following Jesper Orman around for the moment. He is by himself here in P7. A lot of flashing going on, actually. Thomas Geisler seems to be having a little bit of an unstable internet connection, watching him kind of disrupting the timing and scoring a little bit. Let's go back a little bit further. Here's the battle for 10th. There's Aaron McQuarrie, where he is battling out with Beto Sousa.
I'm afraid, talking about Thomas Geisler, I'm afraid to say it, but he is suffering a connection failure right now. I'm having a look at his quality, and it's falling through the floor right now. And I think the iRacing server will disconnect him in a few moments, but he's already fallen a lap down at this point, even if he does come back by some miracle. So unfortunately, that is game over for Thomas Geisler through no fault of his own. That's always a gut-wrenching feeling when your internet lets you down in the heat of the moment.
As we like to say in chat, rip or F. So sorry about that, Thomas, but at least he can come back later in the week and make that up. But we're watching right now the battle for 9th and 10th. Actually, it's kind of a bit of a four-way battle for 9th and 10th, right between adding Nacho LDR and Bruno Miranda, last week's winner, into the mix here, currently in P12. Right now, we're looking 33 laps into the current stint, and Alexis has entered lap traffic, and we got a car that went sideways in front of her.
Always a scary moment there as Newsom is trying to work her way around this traffic. That's Marcio Baroni there in the 18, and now she's got Adam Frazier's number 16 to negotiate with. And now even he's actually fighting for track position right now. They've got to be very careful in this situation, especially with a leader that is trying to maintain her lead. Alexis playing it cool right now. She knows she's got no pressure, but oh, that was a very close one there as that lap car almost brushes the wall coming off of turn number 2. But she will likely clear them there. That lap car is going to back off. That
was Vitor Tononi. Looks like he got loose off of 2, shot down in front of the leaders right there at the start-finish line, recollected it in the grass and is back out on the track, but he is a little off the pace and probably a little shaken up in the process, but he is back down in 24th. But I was getting ready to say, with Alexis in traffic now, about when does the old window open up here to go ahead and make it to the distance?
Usually about 80 laps is what we would expect to see. So with Newsom working lap number 37, coming to lap 38 here.
Caution on the racetrack.
Just I was about to say,
McQuarrie, I think it might have been McQuarrie. McQuarrie is,
it is
looks
McQuarrie.
like he is the one that causes this caution. Let's get back in here. Let's do a little rewind.
Looks
we got
three cars involved in this one.
4 cars, multiple cars. Oh my goodness!
Cameron Bastian and Nacho LDR and Bruno Miranda's in it too.
And guess
4
what, guys?
Cars involved in this.
We went classic. What you don't want to do at any track. 3 wide, and it wasn't really necessary. And it takes out a potential points leader, the winner from last week, and also several other strong cars. And that was a. Maybe chat could like to chime in on that one, but that was a bit of an ambitious move set by Nacho LDR there, trying to squeeze through the middle, especially at 38 of 120 laps to go, or excuse me, a 38 of 120 laps race. He probably could have waited a couple more laps if he was really that much faster.
Joao Ritter is certainly not happy after that one, and well, with Ritter's case, he's actually been able to get away with it, but apparently some of the cars are trying to limp their way back to the pits. I'm actually looking at Bruno Miranda's trying to limp his car back on the pit road as well, as the leaders have all come onto pit road. There's really no sense in staying out on this one. In case you were wondering about the quietness there, I think we were having some issues. I think Gary was having issues with his Discord there.
No, we're good. We're good. We are 5 by 5 here as we are currently under caution. Everyone making those stops, this stop for those tires, which are going to play a big role. They got one more set left in the pits. We will see if that plays a role later on.
Not often we get to talk about that aspect of it, but you only get 2 extra sets of tires aside from the tires that you start with in the IndyCar Fixed Series. And a track like Iowa, where you're going to be working through these tires hard, it's going to be, you got to be very careful when you pit again and when you come in for tires, because if you wear them out too hard, you only have 2 sets to take care of, and here only has 1 left. And after that, those are the tires you're left with for the rest of this race. You got to manage them.
We've got a couple cars staying out right now in front of the leader. They'll look like they'll get a wave around and get their lap back. That would be Adam Frazier, Benjamin Topper. Got Thomas Geisler back in the action. Looks like he might be, let's get an idea here. He's at least 1 lap down, probably more than that, the way they go around here, 17 seconds a lap.
Reading 5 laps down.
Reading 5 laps down. So he'll get 1 back, and then he'll be hoping for almost a near immediate yellow so he could get in there and pit. These guys are going to have about 40 laps on their tires. Well, the first 2 will. We're not quite sure how many laps Geisler's got on this run. I think he's got 4 laps, so he has fairly new tires when he rejoined the field. But looks like Frazier and Topper are going to get the wave around, get their lap back, and then they're going to be on extremely used tires at the back end of the field, and they're going to kind of hope for another caution so they can dip down onto pit road to get the fuel to go to distance and a new set of rubber on those on each one of those corners.
Very definitely so. They're going to have to, everything's going to have to fall right for them at this point. But taking a look at the, after all that's happened, unfortunately, that wreck took out some really good cars. It took out Miranda, it took out Bastian, it took out Nacho LDR, it took out McQuarrie. It's Alexis Newsome who has led from the drop of the green. Chris Wilhite in second. Adriano Pinero third. Bono House, a quiet day so far, running fourth. Joao Androssi in fifth. Jesper Orman in sixth. Dakota DeMeg has picked up a few spots after all of that has happened. He's just taking it easy, and now he's being rewarded with P7 right now. Beto Sousa in P8. Trey Shadid ninth. Murphy rounds out the top 10 as the lap cars get waved. We're on 1 degree.
There we go, watching Frazier and Topper get the wave around. Those are IndyCar rules. If you're immediately behind the pace car and you're lap down, pace car always picks up the leader for the restart. So used to be in the days of old, the 80s, the 70s and 80s, even before when they had pace cars, where the leader would actually pace the field. Sometimes the leader would not always be the leader. It'd be like a lap down car, and they would always restart with the cars and as in the same place. So sometimes you'll see some older Indy 500, Michigan 500 races where there's a car a lap down that's leading the pack to green, but the leader is ultimately like 5 or 6 cars behind that. And it was kind of dangerous to do that, so they initiated the wave around rule, and I think it makes racing a little bit better. Well, we are back green now. Alexis Newsome underway, lap 43.
Newsome once again with a good start over Chris Wilhite. Pinero having to, and taking a look on the high line here, he's going to try and get a run off of turn number 2. Bono House is the interested spectator right now as Pinero looks to the low side in turn 3.
This is where it has to happen with these fresh tires.
Has to happen in these next couple laps. Wilhite gets the drive off the corner on that high line there. He maintains the spot. And now he's trying to set his sights after Newsome, but he's still got Pinero to worry about back there, as well as running after Newsome in front. Newsome actually using that low line right now in the middle of the corner, but it seems to be working well so far right now with no traffic ahead of her.
Wonder if she's using that low line for the first couple laps and then slowly moving it up to a higher line once she puts some distance between herself and the attackers behind her. And we're looking at Chris Wilhite from above from race first 1 blimp as we are going down into turns 1 and 2 here at the D-shaped oval Iowa Speedway, 7/8 of a mile, short track racing IndyCar style.
Always an exciting time and always a strenuous time for the drivers, both mentally and physically. In real life, of course, is nowhere near as much as it is in real life when you're pulling four Gs in the corners that you normally would. But Will Height doing everything he can to stay with Newsom right now. Their lap times have been pretty even thus far, so Will Height has got a lot of work to do to be able to find any sort of line that can give him the downforce he needs to stay with Newsom right now. He's using that high line right now while Newsom is using the low line. But it's gonna be interesting to see in what Will Height can work through it with his tools, with his anti-roll bars, with his weight jacker. Probably got the jacker turned up a considerable amount, even with the shape right now. And even still, he's probably got one eye as well in that mirror because Pinero is still there. They've cleared Bono House by about a second now, and he's actually coming under pressure from Andrassi and Orman. But that battle for second place, it seems to be well and truly back on once more.
That time by Alexis Newsom, 178.337 miles per hour. Will Height, 177.626. And we are under caution again. Joao Ritter might be the incident that we were looking at. Yes, there is Joao Ritter, crippled down the backstretch at the moment. Not sure what happened. We will take a look here momentarily as we go back in time in the race first time machine here for a replay and see exactly what happened
between Joao Ritter and the 21 of Mark Murphy.
Here we see Joao Ritter looking underneath Murphy. Gets him somewhat cleared. Comes right up. Not quite cleared enough. Spins him around. And looks like he makes contact with the inside. While Joao Ritter there, the defending champion of the Race First IndyCar Series, or Race First IndyCar Challenge, excuse me, that we had a couple winners ago. He's here. We haven't had a season 2 yet, so he's still the defending champ. But unfortunately, it looks like his day is going to be a long one here, as he is driving it back crippled to the pits. But guess what? It gave Frazier and Topper that opportunity to hit pit road and get their pit stops in, so they are good to go to distance, I believe.
That is definitely the opportunity that those two at the back have been looking for.
They come down pit road right here.
And they'll have slightly fresher tires. They're going to have to make up some sort of track position with this fresh rubber on them. Once the restart comes out, we're working lap number 52 here out of a halfway mark. So Frazier and Benjamin Topper, the 16 and 19 machines respectively, they've got an interesting little advantage going for them right now. We'll see if they'll be able to make the most of it. I've actually raced with Frazier quite often in the Lionheart IndyCar Series. He's certainly capable of making some good moves happen. Let's see if he can pull some tricks out of his sleeve.
The Mark Murphy pulling down on the pit road, maybe to get some damage taken a look at on the front of his car. Let's see who else we got. Rodrigo Franzoni also on pit road. And we got quite a few cars on pit road at the moment. Looks like Shimizu is also back, so he must have had a hard time just getting signed on to the session or something. No, actually, it looks like he might have had an issue on lap 1, but he is back underway too. Looks like might be a couple laps down, though. But a lot of guys at the back opting to hop down pit road, get topped off, and see if this turns into a mileage race.
That certainly is the big worry. At this point, with the leaders having come on the pit road when they did, they may have to save a little bit, but even then, I don't foresee fuel being the biggest concern right now. I'd probably be more worried about my tires than I would be about fuel if I was someone in Newsom, Will Height, or Pinero's position.
your tires are going to go away long before the fuel tank ever dries up around this place.
Yeah, it would make me wonder if Firestone would ever consider using Iowa Speedway as a proving ground for how tough their rubber can be.
There we are, getting a close-up of our leader, Alexis Newsom, in the number 6 Indy Alliance Racing Dallara. Current leader. Right behind her, Chris Wilhite. There, and the bumper thumper, number 2 Dallara. Adriano Pinero right behind them, and the Bread King, number 1. running the very bottom, getting the shortest line possible around this racetrack to save on fuel. Right behind him is Bono House. Looks like he's almost running a Race vs. R logo on there, but he's not sponsored by us. But
yep, that's a Team Redline paint scheme. In fact, he races for Team Redline, one of the teams in the World Championship Series.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to have him race first, but Dow and DeRossi there in the green car. Of course, we all know my superstition on green cars. Green cars are bad.
Well, he probably won't like my green Aston Martin shirt I got for Christmas in that case.
Well, no, that's British Racing Green. British Racing Green is allowable.
This is true. This is true.
There is Jesper Orman running the teammate there to Alexis Newsom and the Indy Alliance for Racing Dallara. Navy and gold chrome on Dallara coming to green here. Everybody's taking that defensive position up near the wall.
Everyone rim riding it right now up on that wall as the pace car peels off. Newsom already on the gas. Wilhite sees it coming. I guess he's gotten used to it at this point. Green flag back in the air. We're underway. And Wilhite trying to find whatever line he can to get as much grip as possible. But Newsom out to a solid lead thus far. Pinero and Bono House once again putting the pressure on Wilhite for P2.
Coming to lap 57 here, just shy of the halfway point. If you are just joining us, this is Race First coverage of the Indy fixed top split here at Iowa. Current leader is Alexis Newsom, followed by Chris Wilhite, and this battle right here for Adriano Pinero for P2 and 3. Thanks for joining us on this. Well, it's a bit of a balmy night if you're in the Midwest. If you're in the upper Midwest, it's cold and snowy, but thanks for joining us here over your holidays as we're checking some hot action here at the Iowa Speedway, actually, as the Indy cars are short track racing on a rare opportunity. We get to see them. Actually, we get to see them twice this season, short track racing. We'll get to see them in Richmond later in the year, slightly shorter oval, 3/4 of a mile, and they're just as fast there.
Be a track we would see these cars in real life last year if a certain
global pandemic,
had not happened.
As we like to say, the global bastard. Yes.
Indeed, it really put a damper on a lot of ambitions on the IndyCar schedule, and one of those was Richmond. And fortunately, we did get racing here at Iowa Speedway back in 2020, but unfortunately, we didn't get it this year. But happily for folks out in the Midwest looking for a place to go to, and unfortunately, Chicagoland Speedway isn't still hosting IndyCar events. But Iowa Speedway will be back on the IndyCar calendar for a double header, no less, in the middle of July. So, as much as, and if you love watching IndyCars at Iowa Speedway in the iRacing service, feel free to enjoy watching it in real life as well. I'm sure you'll get a kick out of it too. But
caution on the racetrack.
Back out. Trying to find... Saying a car in turn number 4 is the trouble. It is Rodrigo Franzoni that is stopped in the middle of 3 and 4.
And he has already zapped it back to the pits. Let's go back in time a little bit to check out this incident. It looks like he was racing...
Mark Murphy.
Another incident with Mark Murphy there.
This one looked like netcode, though.
Yeah. He's probably wondering, like, geez, well, yeah, but you know what? Even without netcode, I think he was probably going to end up in the right rear there of Franzoni.
That was always going to be a rough situation.
Yeah, a little rough. I think we're still too early to get desperate for making some of these desperate moves that we saw 3 wide going. I don't know if I want to call that one desperate, really, but certainly the 3 wide move and the one was certainly desperate. Oh, we got some people pitting.
Game changing right here. Newsom didn't.
Newsom stays out.
Newsom is in. Newsom is in the pits. Wilhite, Pinero, Bono House, they've all stayed out.
Okay, there it is. Newsom in the pits. So, she's going to her last set of tires, is she? Let's see. Let's watch this.
Comes in, hits her marks.
She go up on the jacks.
Up on the jack. Down once more. Rolls out again. Apparently, actually getting back to the Mark Murphy situation, Franzoni appears to be none too pleased with him, and apparently he's been PMing him quite a bit to express his disdain. But this is a very interesting strategy call from Alexis Newsom. At first, I'd say this is a move that I'd be hesitant to make. I remember seeing Alex Van de Sant make the same move on the broadcast at Dover last season, and it bit him pretty hard. This is a bit of a different situation here. That was towards the end of the race. This is still just past halfway. Newsom will have fresh rubber, so he definitely is in a position to make up track position here. But I'd be. Getting back, sorry about the technical issues there, but getting back to my point here, Newsom would be, Newsom is in a pretty interesting situation here. She's in position number 12 as things cycle out. So 12 spots she's got to make up again. I'd still be hesitant if I would even make this move, but maybe she can work it through. She's certainly got the speed to make a big impression coming up through the pack.
We're having a little issue with the overlay performance, but we're back. We're back at it here. Watching the this incident unravel here. Luckily, that the caution laps last for a long time here. It's, whenever there's a caution, it's just like, there's 5 laps that automatically are going to get ticked off before anything else happens. I wish iRacing could be a bit smarter and say, okay, it's all cleaned up, let's go back racing. But they insist on the long caution laps. So. Sorry, we missed all the action there, but at least we got it called by the booth. Alexis Newsom is back out on the track in 12th. Chris Wilhite now will be the leader, and all this time he's been fighting lap traffic and leader traffic in front of him. Now he's going to have a wide open road. His car's going to handle a little bit different, isn't it?
It's a very different ball game there. If you feel any bit of aero push in the car, being out front feels like a godsend grip-wise. You're going to have, it feels like you have all the grip in the universe by comparison, and compared to when you're running behind the car in front, and they're taking grip away from you just by being in front of you. So Wilhite has got a good opportunity to make something happen, make big moves, and build up a gap over the cars behind him, and ideally build up a gap over Alexis Newsom. And we'll have to see if her gamble pays off on this one. It's certainly possible, no doubt about it, but it's going to require her driving the wheels off of that number 6 machine and making every move possible work properly and not get caught up in any sort of incidents that may transpire.
Another thing to point out is a number of cars running low on the racetrack trying to conserve fuel. It makes me think that this is going to be a really close to the end here on fuel mileage. Specifically watching Pinero and House do that. There's some other cars a little bit further on back that are also doing it. As I say with House, you don't get a 56K rating by not by not doing the little things, and trying to conserve fuel staying in the bottom of the racetrack is definitely one of the little things. Green flag in the air, 68 laps down. We're more than past halfway point, and we are back underway.
Wilhite with the jump up. Pinero gets a monster run coming off of turn number 2. He goes down to the low side in 3. He's got him clear for the moment. Does he pull the corner?
Pop
yes,
up.
he does.
There goes. But you know what? He had to roll out of it a little bit because he was going to smack the wall with the right rear, and then that allows Wilhite back. And look, who's coming? Bono House and Jesper Orman.
These guys are salivating at this chance right now. Everyone wants this chance to lead now that Newsom has to put in the work to claw up to the pack. She's already gained a spot as well. I might note she's up to 11th. Pinero with the lead. Wilhite trying to look down the low side. Bono House trying to run the high line there. He's going to be looking to the low side in turn 3. Not quite going to be getting there yet, but he's going to have some extra grip. Maybe have a bit better run than he would have if he had stuck in the slipstream of that number 2 machine.
Ooh.
But now he's under pressure now from Jesper Orman, and we got some word on the radio of Matthew Mercer not being particularly happy with someone he is having to deal with.
Yeah, it looks like he had Franzoni. No, not Franzoni. Mauricio. Actually, Vitor. It's Vitor. It's one of the big fan cars and he was trying to make his way around him for lap traffic, and he was not making it easy for him. But also looks like making it easy for himself. Just speaking of that, as we're watching her go by right now, the Lexus Newsome passes a lap car, is now setting sail to Matthew Mercer. This is going to be a battle for the top, battle into the top 10 now, as she is now underneath him, coming through turns 1 and 2.
A look down low, not quite enough there yet. Again, using the low side in 3 and 4. Can she get a run in the middle of the corner that she needs? Not quite. This is the issue I was talking about here. It's going to be very difficult to pick off these spots one at a time, even with fresh tires, especially when running that high line will definitely give you good momentum there, and everyone will want to run it. So Newsome has got all the work to do to get back up there and reassert herself in the top 10 and probably the top 5 by the end of this race. A lot of things have to play out right for her right now.
But she does not have a worry about fuel at all.
This is true. That may well be one of the reasons there, just to ensure fuel security here.
Looking out the gearbox there of Matthew Mercer, staring right at the front nose of Alexis Newsome as she goes underneath him here in turns 3 and 4. Side by side through the tri-oval.
Side by side there, going into turn number 1. This is the better chance to do it on the low side there.
She pulls that off. And if you saw actually on the broadcast, we were watching that pass right there, how bumpy that top lane was. Matthew Mercer hit some vicious bumps up there. Probably had the roll out of it, probably disrupted the car a little bit. And Alexis on the bottom just goes right on by. Alexis Newsome now in the top 10, setting sail now for Tim Williams, who is set in 9th.
Got to make up a lot of ground here. The gap back to Pinero, who currently holds a 0.6 of a second lead over Chris Wilhite, is 4.9 seconds. She was 0.2 faster than the leaders on that last lap. These fresh tires could well be helping quite a bit. But again, I'm also wondering here if she came in for fuel security. There was definitely a lot of caution laps here, but at the same time, it could well have been a safe move to come in and get that fuel, not topped off per se, but definitely enough to get to the end of this race. As she's looking all over the back of Tim Williams, going down to the low side there, not quite enough of a run to get up alongside. But I'd imagine right now she's going to be using whatever line she can to keep as much grip and as much momentum as possible at this point to try and open up that opportunity.
Watching our leader right now with about a 0.9 of a second lead over P2 Chris Wilhite. Hey, if you like the camera angles that we're using, you too can have these cameras pretty much free for individual use. You'll need to seek permission if you need to use them for broadcast use. But if you go onto the iRacing forums, check out Finian's camera pack there. Every track is pretty much a custom camera angles developed by him, and he's just making them available to everybody. You can find that there on the iRacing forums. Pick them up. We're using these with permission for Finian. I want to thank you very much for his time and for his permission. Right here showing leaders down the front stretch here at Iowa.
And keeping an eye once more on Newsome. She has gotten around Tim Williams once more up to P9. And now she's all over the rear of Trey Shadid and Beto Sousa. These are a couple of guys she'll want to pick off pretty quick here.
Yeah.
She gets a good run off of turn number 4 behind Trey Shadid's number 5 machine. Looking once more to the high side there. So these guys are going to be, she'll want to pick off these guys quick, but they're definitely going to be putting up a fight because they're engrossed in their own battle right now. But now she's looking once again to the low side on Shadid. Kind of has the nose alongside. Not quite enough, though. So this is going to be where the tricky bit lies. It doesn't get easier to pass guys as you go up.
No, it doesn't.
Up to the field. It
no,
gets
it
harder.
doesn't. She needs to tread lightly, too, because Trace and Beto are in fighting for their own position. So maybe she can take advantage of one of their mistakes at the time being. But right now, she gets too engaged in there. She might find herself in the way.
That could well be what she's gambling on right now. They're so engrossed in their own battle. And now Newsome goes down to the low side on Trey
drives it in there deep.
Bold move right now. She does lead him over the line there. And once again, Shadid is going to have to run up on that top line, but Newsome already has a bit of understeer coming off of turn number 2. And Shadid gets the run back. Still
She drives
side
it
by
in
side through 3 and 4.
so deep in the 3 and 4 on the bottom.
Newsom doing everything in her power to get as much grip as possible on that low side there, but once again, Trace Shadid has that run. This is for position number 8 right now. But
she wants to slide up. There it
right
is.
Shadid slows up a little bit in the middle of 3 and 4. May have had to back off there to prevent hitting the wall, but that does surrender the position once again to Alexis.
Yeah,
right
Alexis.
now, she restarted 12th, currently running 8th, and she's now running all over the back of that 24, Abito Sousa.
Yeah, currently watching Alexis Newsom, who started on the pole, led pretty much the opening stint, decided the last caution to dip in and get fresh tires, her probably last set of fresh tires, and top off the tank. She's good to go to distance. She is now around Beto Sousa, and now she's setting sail for, well, Dakota has a rear mirror full of an IAR car right now. Let's put it that way.
Dakota DeMeg, who's been putting in stellar performances all across the IndyCar world in iRacing so far. He's running 6th at the moment. Our old friend has got a lot to deal with right now.
Oh, we got lap traffic.
Lap traffic once again coming into play. This could be Newsom's bane or her saving grace. As once again looking to the high side right now, cutting down low on Dakota DeMay. She gets a good run there. DeMay had a lap car to deal with there.
Zhao kind of got in his way a little bit, and that cost him a position. These lap cars are not giving any quarter whatsoever here. We're starting lap 95 here as the leaders reach the start-finish line, and Alexis now is up to P6, so she is halfway there.
Halfway there, living on a prayer probably praying for a caution at this point to get her back up there. All this battling right now, it's given her track position, but it has cost her time to the leaders. It's now 6.6 seconds between Alexis Newsom and the leader, Adriano Pinheiro, who himself has a 2-second lead over Chris Wilhite. Pinheiro has been flying thus far.
Well, that time by Pinheiro 18.0, Alexis Newsom 17.9. Alexis just slightly faster, even with traffic.
Even with traffic, to be sure. Those fresh tires are definitely helping her cause right now. And once again, it's carrying her once again up to the car in front, and that is the number 13 of Joao Angelossi.
Yeah, Zhao is looking in the rearview mirror, and he's like, he must have a spotter too, because he's like, he's down low now. Watch this. He's protecting that low side. He's probably got his spotter saying she's going low, she's going low, she's going low. So he's trying to slam the door. Man, her car can work anywhere. This time he stays high. So I think he's maybe making himself a little bit more unpredictable here to kind of throw off Alexis. But she drives in there deep, almost gets into the back of him, has to roll out of it. But she manages to pull off the pass and now has the position. Wow, that was an interesting exchange.
Well done for Newsom, checking up in time once she realized that Andrassi would be slow in the middle of the corner. That was certainly not what Andrassi wanted there, but it's given Newsom a more of a chance right now to claw her way back up. Next up on her checklist is Jesper Orman.
Teammate.
And Orman right now has his own battle to deal with. He's running all over the back end of Bono House. And Bono actually has quite a ways back behind Chris Wilhite. Wilhite has actually closed in a little bit on Pinheiro, not enough to constitute a battle at this point. But Orman to the high line on Bono House. Running way close to that wall.
I think he might have slightly grazed the wall. He definitely surprised Bono a little bit there. Side by side down the backstretch. 3 wide coming down the backstretch into turn 3. Let's see who survives.
Newsom down low. She clears Bono House. He has to tuck in behind there. But Jesper Orman, now what do you do here if you're Orman? You're going to be working with your teammate, or are you going to fight her?
Rule 1, racing your teammate. Don't wreck them. And Rule 2 is you see Rule 1. And she passes him, pulls it off now, and Alexis now back into a podium position. And the big loser out of that one, unfortunately, is Bono House. He lost 2 spots. He goes from a podium to a top 5 in like a period of a lap.
Bono House certainly putting in a strong performance for someone who doesn't typically race these cars, at least not as far seen very much. He's more akin to the more stuff you see in the F1 cars and the Porsche series. but that lost quite a bit on that exchange there. And the big question I have here, working at the end of lap number 105 after 120, can Newsom put in the laps to close in once more on leaders? 4 points. It's actually holy crap. Looking at lap times right now, as Pinero has actually got lap cars to deal with. He has closed in about half a second in that one lap alone on Pinero. She is flying through this field right now as she once again has lap cars to worry about.
Yeah, she is back 3.6 seconds now to the leaders. Right now we are watching Wilhite, who's working around some lap traffic. I believe that is Tim Williams that he's currently trying to work his way around. Next up for him would be Adam Frazier. Pinero is also in the middle of lap traffic. He is right there with, let's see, the 17 of, not sure who he's with up in front there. Oh, that's one of Frazier. Yeah, sorry.
Was keeping an eye on Newsom there. She is ringing this thing down to 3.3 seconds, but she came very close to that wall off of turn number 4. A little bit twitchy there on exit. She is driving 11 tenths and above to get up to Chris Wilhite for P2. And hopefully, if time allows, with 10 laps to go here,
I don't think we're going to do it. It's going to run out of time. It's 17-second laps. Unless there's a caution or they get really caught up in some traffic. We'll see, though. We're watching Adriano Faporti. He had a bit of a moment coming off of turn 4 last lap. He has the leader right behind him. Let's take a look back at P3. Alexis Newsom there. Underneath, Tim Williams, who got up in the wall a little bit, but he manages to regain it. She is by. She set sail, and now she's looking at Chris Wilhite.
Newsom trying to play the Rick Mears to Wilhite and Pinero's Gordon Johncock here, referring to the 1982 Indianapolis 500. But I don't know if it's going to be that close tonight as we're working lap number 112. Pinero working his way around lap cars. That is certainly going to be a consideration here. The same will be... But I do wonder if it is going to be enough. It's actually 1.9 seconds right now as Pinero fighting his way through the lap cars. He is not liking this.
No, he is not happy at all. And Chris Wilhite has to go through the same ones, and maybe these guys now are going to just say, oh, let me let the guy go. But I don't know. The leaders in this series have, the lap traffic in this series have not been kind to leaders whatsoever. So we'll see what happens to those guys. But 7 to go, coming to 6 to go, and Newsom now is almost on the back attenuator of Wilhite.
It's 1.2 seconds now behind the leader and half a second behind Wilhite, who is struggling to deal with these lap cars right now. He has got to be fuming in his helmet right now.
He's got no place to go.
Yeah, worse still, he can see her. She is right behind him. Alexis Newsom looking for the
and that was that was a block. That was definitely a block. She made the move. He reacted. That was a block. But you're allowed that one move. And he was defending that position.
Newsom looking everywhere she possibly can. Looking in the middle, maybe of this 3-wide situation. Not quite there as we'll be coming to 3 laps to go at the stripe here. Pinero has about a 1-second lead over Wilhite, but the battle is on for P2.
This is the battle on the racetrack. We'd love to watch Pinero wrap these last couple of laps up, but man, we do not want to miss this action for the middle step of the podium. It's Alexis Newsom started on the pole, had a late pit stop, topped off, new tires, good to go, restarted 12th. She is now in 3rd and looking to the inside, going 3 wide into turn 1. 2 laps to go.
3 wide with a lap car. There, Wilhite is fuming. He's actually angry on the radio right now at one of the lap cars there, and every right to be, since it probably cost him P2 there. He tries to come back on the high side there as we come to the white flag lap. Pinero leads, but the battle is still on here. Newsom has got everything to hold on for. She does clear him, but Wilhite has got to be furious with his lap car right now. But meanwhile, as we come off of turn number 4, last time, it's going to be Adriano Pinero winning at Iowa. And Alexis Newsom with a comeback drive for P2. But Chris Wilhite has got to be the angriest of the 3 on the podium tonight.
Ooh, and I got to tell you, Pinero is like thank God we got the lap 120, because if we were racing the lap 150, he doesn't have that lead by then. It's tough to call that one, but it'll be definitely a lot closer finish. What a race.
Fantastic stuff. A great comeback for Alexis Newsome, even if I will say that whole coming in on that last caution there was kind of will probably have cost her a win. Hard out to get up to P2 once more. Had the fastest car of the night by far, and a great performance for Newsome. But let's not forget the real winner tonight. It's that number 1 machine of Adriano Pinheiro, who took the opportunity presented to him and ran to the bank with it. He is the winner tonight at Iowa Speedway.
I gotta think though, maybe not. I don't know for sure what's really going through everyone's mind. We could just take a best guess, and I'm wondering if Alexis was just hoping for one more caution to kind of bring the field together, to keep those lap cars at the tail end of the line there, and possibly get closer to the leaders there, and that just never materialized. We saw a couple of tight moments that never turned into a caution, but yeah, still from 12th to 3rd, and a track that's notoriously hard to pass at, she was setting a clinic for everybody, and everyone was just learning.
Definitely so, and I'm sure a few lessons were had by a lot of people around her tonight. She certainly had the strongest car, but that's not to say that Chris Wilhite and Adriano Pinheiro didn't have strong performances themselves. They certainly did, but what was clear to me, this race could very well was a race of what ifs. What if something happened to one of these drivers? What if a caution came out? And it leaves me excited for the result in hand, but it leaves me to wonder what could have been for a few.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. We've heard it all before. But let's take a look at tonight's final standings here from Iowa Speedway. Adriano Pinheiro with a awesome win. Held on to manage to pull this one out. Alexis Newsome with the drive of the night. Started from the pole, went back to the back of the pack, and came back up to the front of the pack. P2. Chris Wilhite, probably one of your more angry drivers on the racetrack tonight. I'm sure we got a couple of them as well, especially those guys that went 3 wide in the turn 1 a little bit earlier in the race. He finishes P3, which is still going to help him in the point situation for the Division 1 Season 1 2022 fixed standings. Jesper Orman, a solid top 5. So Indy Alliance racing cars in the top 5 there in 2 and 4. Joao Androssi, P5 there in the green car, so the green car survives. Bono House manages P6. I don't want to say if that's a disappointment for him or not, but I'm sure that he probably was hoping for a bit of a better finish than that. Beto Sousa in P7, Trace did P8, Matthew Mercer P9. Dakota DeMaid finishes with a top 10, but something happened to him that caused him to drop in the standings. Not sure what happened there. Maybe he had a wall moment and had to survive. We'll find out here a little bit later this week when we talk to him. Guillermo Perkel, Adriel Fanporti, Adam Fraser, Mark Murphy, Tim Williams round out your top 15. Go on to the next page here if we can. Oops, that's the grid button. We want to go to increment for the results button. There we go. If it goes. We've been having performance issues with overlays all night. Oh, there we go. Benjamin Topper, Vitor Tononi, Thomas Geisler, Marciano Baroni, and Joao Ritter, your top 20. Your top remainder of the field, your top 26, Matsumoto Shimizu, Rodrigo Franzoni. Bruno Miranda, last week's winner, unfortunately got caught up in that 3-wide incident. Same with Cameron Bastain. Nacho LDR is probably going to have a lot to speak for this week for taking him 3-wide in the turn 1 that early in the race. And Aaron McQuarrie in P26. That rounds out your 26-car field here from Iowa. I'm not sure if anyone is in the interview room. We will take a look here real quick. We do see Jesper. We might want to bring him up. Talk about his top 5. And let's see if we get the results back up on the page correctly here. Again, performance issues with the overlay.
I love it when we have
Yeah.
when there's technical
There we
issues.
go. There we go. Let's go ahead and we see Jesper waiting for an interview. Jesper did finish 4th. I don't think we have anyone else that is willing to pop in, so we'll bring up Jesper for the heck of it for a P4. Hey, Jesper, great day for the Indy Alliance guys. 1 and 4. Tell us about your race. Or 2 and 4. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, hey Gary. Yeah, that was a fun race. Always fun to come to Iowa. I really love this track. It's great.
Man, it seems like lap traffic there at the end was playing a role in things. Was it impacting your race any, or was it helping you at all?
No, it didn't affect me really. For me, I personally was stuck behind Bono for a while there on the last stint, so I lost maybe, I don't know, 4 seconds to the leaders. Couldn't catch that back. And when I saw Alexis come with her new tires, I just, okay, let her do her thing because she's so fast here. And I was really hoping that she would get those guys up front. But yeah, there was a lap traffic there in the end. Yeah, I think there are a few frustrated drivers. I think Chris is pretty frustrated. I think Alexis is also frustrated. She told me you basically handed that to Adriano pitting there. That was the wrong call, but at least she saved it with a P2.
Is she ever going to share with you the secret of her speed around this track, or is she going to keep that, take that one to the grave possibly someday?
No, she has shared her secrets, but you know, it's impossible to replicate. She's so fast. You just can't.
Steve, you got any questions?
Well, it certainly makes me wonder if well, I know from racing with Alexis in the past that she is damn fast right now, but would you say that but the question mark I'd have there is, would you say that if you were in Alexis's position on that final caution and coming in for that final stop, would you have done the same?
I would have no, I would not. I think we were a little bit we were not so focused at that moment. We were talking about something, I don't know, and like everybody was coming down the apron. Yeah, I think she kind of forgot that it probably is a bad call coming in right now. So no, I would not have done the same thing. You know, it happens. It's really tricky to be first sometimes. Those pit games, they really suck sometimes.
No doubt about that. And overall, you I know you said that you loved this track before. I guess I can expect you to see you racing more often this week.
Oh yeah, for sure. I got a lot of time this week, so for sure. And also, I love that the fact that Iowa is coming back to the real stuff, the real schedule next year. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I actually might be out there next year. You never know.
Nice.
Jesper, we got you here. Anybody you like to shout out to? I'm sure you got all your teammates there with IAR you like to say hi to.
Yeah, hi to everyone, and especially good job today, Alexis. Anyway, coming back from I think was P12. That was an amazing job. And yeah, she deserved the podium for sure.
Well, there you have it. Next week, now we know you as an oval racer. Next week is the road course. Might we see you at Road America, or you think this may be one of the ones you'll take a pass at?
No. I will be there.
All right, there you hear it. There you hear it. He's going to be on. He will be making the appearance on the road course. Awesome. All right. Well, thank Jesper for sticking around, and congratulations on your top 5. And hopefully we will see you next week.
Thanks, Gary and Steve.
Have a great night, man. All right, there we go. He drops from the channel. What a good sport. All right. So we got nobody else really hanging around. So your final thoughts before we move on. We're going to Road America next, but final thoughts here on Iowa before moving on to Road America.
Well, it just goes to show that short track racing in IndyCar is fantastic nights racing here. And with a few of the plays that were made, some due to error, some due to judgment, it was exciting to watch all throughout, as Iowa Speedway usually tends to. And who knows, I may even give it a bash later on this week if I'm if I feel like I'm not going to put the car in the wall every time I run up close to it. But running on this dinky little monitor. You never know.
Oh, there you go. Steven's feeling racy.
Yeah. Yep, and I'm definitely going to be racing at Road America next week after the Monday night broadcast. That's for certain. And to contrast the two, it's very hard to find many similarities going from the 7/8 of a mile oval at Iowa Speedway to the 4-mile 14-turn road course that is Road America. That's going to be quite a shakeup for these guys going into next week. Just imagine being the guy that does the final race of this week and then immediately jumps into the Monday night broadcast race at Road America. That's going to be quite the contrast.
Just think how many laps an IndyCar does here in relation to one lap at Road America.
That's,
I think there's like
just over 4 laps.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
just over 4 laps here at Iowa.
Yeah, that's going to be you'll get quite a few laps in before one car completes a lap at Road America. So America's favorite road course is next week here on the schedule. I want to thank Steven again for joining us tonight. So that's it for tonight. Once again, your podium from here at Iowa is Adriano Pinero, Alexis Newsom, and Chris Wilhite. Joining racers again next Tuesday as we'll be coming to you from Road America for round 4 of Season 1 2022 of the Monday Night Indy Split. That's next Monday night, 7:15 Eastern Time on YouTube at youtube.com/racefirst. Hey, we love bringing these races to you. They're not easy to make, and they require time and money to produce. We have brought you coverage of this season and last season for free out of our love of iRacing and our passion for the sport of IndyCar. If you are just as passionate as us and would like to see Race First coverage of the Monday Night Indy Split continue again further into this season and next season, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our Season 1 2022 Monday Night Indy Split Broadcast Fund. Please donate and let us know that you'd like to see our coverage continue beyond this season. We realize times are tough, so any contribution would be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us a part of your Monday nights. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not so easy, so please do leave a comment below and let everyone know what you thought of tonight's race. If you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. Let's see, we got 8 people watching and only 2 likes, so that number's not matching up. Come on, folks, hit the like button, give me a like spike. But if you are new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more Race First iRacing program, including our exclusive coverage of the Revolution IndyCar League Schaefer Cup IndyCar Series on Wednesdays. And starting January 11th, it's the return of the most prestigious IndyCar leagues, one of the most prestigious IndyCar leagues in all of iRacing. It's the Midwest Kidney Warriors Formula Indy Series. Join Race First coverage of the FIS as it kicks off its 3rd season at Suzuka Circuit in Japan right here on Race First. For business inquiries and to learn more about Race First and what we do, please visit racefirst.com or visit us on Twitter. You can follow me, Gary Godso, on Twitter at Gary Godso. So for Stephen Larkamp, everyone at Race First, I am Gary Godso saying to all, happy holidays, happy new year, and to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Thanks again, folks, and we will catch you next week at Road America for the next race of the Monday Night Indy Split. Good night.